Hello and welcome to Inside Crypto Today TV with me, Jowan Alexis. In today's episode, I would like to shine a light on the world of Bitcoin mining. Bitcoin mining is a topic that has fascinated me for the last few years. It's an area that has been questioned time and again, especially around the area of legality, trust, and transparency. In the past, Bitcoin mining, of course, was very closely associated, especially by government forces and legal forces, as being associated with crime, with drugs, with many nefarious underworld activities. A lot of that has been disproven over recent years. More recently, there's of course been the issue of energy consumption in Bitcoin mining. We touched on this a few weeks ago when we talked about Steve Wozniak's new cryptocurrency project. And we discussed in that episode how the consumption of energy, especially within the industry, is a cause of concern. We obviously have to remember that in America, particularly in a place called Plattsburgh in 2018, they were the first city to actually ban cryptocurrency mining. For them, it was down to the fact that there were special rates of energy for industrial users. It was as little as 2 cents per kilowatt. And there was a company at the time that was actually using about 10% of the city's energy pool within that bracket. India, of course, completely banned cryptocurrency operations, including mining, for a period of time. That ban was later overturned. Other countries as well have had interesting policies towards not just the cryptocurrency markets, but specifically towards the mining of cryptocurrency. The other big area, of course, when it comes to mining cryptocurrency is the hardware and expertise needed. It's not something that historically everybody has had access to. There's a bit of a stereotype of the sort of the computer nerd with racks of hard drives and fans in a dark cellar. Perhaps that is a little bit of a Hollywood interpretation, but the reality is that until now, really, the hardware outlay required to mine and make a profit and the technical knowledge required to set up an operation has been quite a big barrier to entry. The other aspect that has been a barrier to entry has been lock-ins by obviously the networks that you are operating within. There have been commitments to stay within certain operations. It's a very, very difficult market to make a profit and have complete freedom to do what you want with the income you earn from it. I've been keeping an eye on this situation on and off over the last few years, and recently I've come across a new project which I find absolutely fascinating. It's something I'd like to put a bit of a spotlight on in today's show because I have never seen anything like it, and I think that the company I've been looking at, what they have to offer, gives us a glimpse into the future of Bitcoin mining. The platform I've been looking at is called Zionodes.com, and it is billed as the world's leading marketplace for Bitcoin mining. To quote the website, shunning away the beleaguered troubles of hidden fees and incomprehensible contracts, the crypto mining industry is set for evolution with Zionodes, a unique decentralized marketplace that aggregates data centers, sellers of hardware, and miners all in one place. It is a name synonymous with transparency, optimized operations, and better returns on your capital. That's something I will come back to later on in this episode. So just what are the benefits of Zionode? Well, it offers, among other things, ownership. It offers verification, cost leadership, transparency, and security. I'm going to take a closer look in a moment at just exactly what it is that Zionodes offers. But first, I've had a little look behind the scenes to figure out who is behind this operation. Now, the CEO of Zynodes is Olga Kochma, and she is quite a player in the cryptocurrency industry. She is the CEO of Zionodes at the moment. She is a founding member of the Bitcoin Association of Hong Kong. She's formerly a business and development executive in an established cryptocurrency, blockchain, banking and investment firm. She has real pedigree in the industry, and as the face of this new product, it really does come back to that word trust and, of course, transparency, which seem to be at the very heart of what this company is all about. So let me take you on a little tour and give you a little bit more information from what I've discovered on the platform. So one of the things I observed straight away is I love the way the website is presented. It is extremely accessible, extremely informative, but in a way that it's really easy to find the information you're looking for, really easy to find your way around the website and find what you want to know. There's nothing's hidden. It doesn't require you to sort of go through layers and layers of stuff, and it all comes down to this same thing, this ethos of the company. We're very transparent, we're upfront in the information. So if we go on to the tokenize tab as an example, and that alone is a really informative screen, but there's a fantastic how it works section which I'm looking at now. If we go into the FAQs, there is an absolute wealth of information. It's extremely well presented. I'm just going to go here. What is Zynodes tokenization and how does it work? It gives an overview. Zynodes offers a unique opportunity for its users. Now, the user can buy mining equipment in the form of a token, ERC20, and start mining the reward immediately. As a result, the user purchases a token that represents ASIC. This means one token equals one ASIC. When a user stacks this token on a smart contract through the Zionodes tokenization interface, the user receives a reward in REM BTC, again it's ERC20, by his equipment. The system independently deducts from the mine reward a fee for electricity costs to the farm operator to maintain equipment on the farm. And as it says here, mining has never been easier than with Zionodes. All the user needs to do is buy tokenization equipment and stack it on the Zionodes tokenization website. It really is a new era in remote mining, and that's really important if we just look at remote mining, because we have of course seen in the past various different enterprises offering cloud mining solutions. The trouble is most of these have not been trustworthy. Zionodes is challenging that and offering something that really does change the game. Now I want to look here, something I'd really like to show you that I find really interesting is a little chart which gives a technical overview, the system architecture. And this is brilliant. Obviously there's a lot to read here, but within that website is a fantastic map of the system architecture. So if you're really into the technical details of how this system works, there is no shortage of information. Everything is laid out there for you to see. You can obviously get to understand exactly what you are buying into it. It's brilliantly mapped out here. So we've got the hardware, we've got the back end, we've got the user addresses down here and the Zynodes contract. But of course, really important here is this balance support. That's something I'm just going to come back to again shortly. There's so much we need, I want to cover in this little episode because I'm just really impressed with this website. The balance support, we'll come back at that and look at some figures shortly, but just to sort of introduce you to this wealth of information that's available in this help section is you can make a really informed decision before you commit to anything, and I think that's a real plus. So let me have a little bit more detail on this architecture and understand a little bit about how the user is profiting from the Zynodes infrastructure. So one of the most important things is to understand the profit is not made by holding the token, but actually by staking the token into the balancer. The balancer is split between two assets. 98% of that is the Zynodes ASIC and 2% is REN BTC. Now basically the process, once you have a profit in that balancer pool, that can be verified against your contract, and once that's verified, the user can then withdraw their profit, which is converted into BTC and is available to them. It's a really straightforward system, and as you can see on the site, it's made really clear how that is going to work. The balance support is something I would like to look at. The balance support is currently 98% versus 2%, although that is something that is questionable, and it is something that I would expect may have some other offers in the future. It does, of course, come down to the question of profitability and how much a user wanted to invest up front. I believe that the current figure will be based on offering a very competitive rate of entry that's more accessible, but definitely something I'd like to look at more. So that was a sort of layman's introduction to the technicalities behind the scenes of the platform and how it sort of works. But what I'd like to do is actually take a moment to show you around the user interface that most people are going to spend their time looking at. It really is a beautifully simple interface. One of the nice features is the Connect Wallet option, which really does just make things extremely simple. There's a range of wallets available. This is likely to expand in the future. Of course, MetaMask is up there. MetaMask being one of the wallets we would certainly recommend most people look at, but obviously other providers there as well. It really is a very straightforward process to get connected with a wallet provider. And in terms of actually beginning mining, then the simplest way is simply to come down here and click buy. And from there, you can then buy into the miner that you wish to work with. There is another option that we can use. We can go into the pool, and we can go that way through the mining pools. We can pop in there if we click on mine here. We also have the option to buy into that miner. So it couldn't be simpler to actually get set up and start earning. And I'd like to actually give a little demonstration here, because I've obviously, I've been attracted enough to invest in it. I'm going to be honest here. I'm very reluctant to invest my money, especially through third parties such as this. But I felt compelled to invest in Zionodes. So $700 up front, 700 USDT, not a massive investment, especially when I don't have to manage any of the hardware, any of the software setup. That's a really, a big attraction for me, because what I want to see is I want to see passive income coming out of the Bitcoin industry without me having to, sacrifice or get involved in technical stuff, which is just not something I really enjoy. So what is the return on Zynodes? Well, let me show you. So if I walk you through a screenshot I've got here of my account, I've had this machine myself running for about 2 weeks. I bought it early this year. Current balance is the reward available is 0.0008 REM BTC, which is equivalent to about 30.42 US dollars. Now, to put that into context, that is a $30 return in 2 weeks. That's about 4.2% return on investment. And I would say, for anybody who's invested money or tried to invest money in traditional financial models in fiat, that's a pretty impressive return, especially in the current economic climate. Now, based on that, we're looking at sort of a region of $60 to $80 a month, given the potential of Bitcoin to rise further. With that in mind, you could be looking at sort of a 7 to 8 months balancing up on your initial investment, which I think most people would say that is a pretty impressive turnaround. It's not one of these promising something that's too good to be true. It is something that is realistic. But if you're in this for the long term and you're placing your bets on the future of Bitcoin and Bitcoin's future growth, then from what I've seen so far, this is a really attractive product that could offer you some really long-term passive income. One observation I would make is currently the reward system is based on the ERC network, which, as we know, again, it's something we've covered here in Inside Crypto TV over the past couple of months, is the network overload we've seen recently, and of course the high cost. So at the moment, there is one drawback from where I'm standing. That is, I think it would be rather expensive, especially if you wanted to withdraw your earnings on a fairly regular basis. That said, most people are going to be looking at this as a longer term investment. But again, that's something we can look into, and we can contact the people behind Zynodes. We can get in touch with Olga, perhaps establish what the future looks like. Will there be an alternative? Will there be a choice of platforms for that? I would love to know where that's going, because I think that the ERC network, it is an issue at the moment. It is a sort of a bottleneck in the system, let's say, but let's just keep an eye on that and see what gets addressed. I think one of the other features of the website I do find really attractive, if we scroll down to the bottom, and again, it's back to this transparency, is Scroll down to the bottom, and in the footer, obviously you've got access to the support and the balance report, some information there. But as well here we've got, if we look in the footer on the right hand side, is we've got the contracts available there for you to see. So absolute transparency is something that seems to be embraced in everything this website does. Really, really something that from me, from somebody who sees all kinds of Bitcoin projects all the time, all kinds of blockchain projects. This for me is a website that really, really gives me real confidence as somebody who I'd be willing to invest here. If we have a quick look at Marketplace, this gives us an overview of the marketplace. And obviously, this is essentially an aggregator, but again, and here is one of the real bonuses of this website, these are all verified, they're all vetted and verified by Zionodes. So there again, it's that complete trust. And at the moment, we've got the two listed here. They're both based in China. And what we can expect to see in the future is an increasing number of resources added to this platform in the marketplace. So as a user, you will have that opportunity to essentially choose your miner from the marketplace and make those decisions yourself, have some autonomy in that, but with the confidence that they have been pre-vetted, and that's a real bonus. It's something I find really attractive in this website. So I mentioned earlier, if you do have any questions about Zionodes, do drop them in and we will follow up and we'll dig a little deeper and see what we can find out about these. But there is one really, really interesting user question that I would like to look at, and that is in the Bitcoin industry, Bitcoin mining, especially in the rise of the cloud mining scene, there have been various scams. So how do I know a company like Zionodes is safe? Well, as with not just Bitcoin, not just with DeFi, but with anything financial, any kind of investment, there's always a risk factor. And the risk factor is twofold. First is the actual financial risk itself, of course, and secondly is the organization or the individuals who are managing your investment. Now, I know there's a lot to be said on the presentation of a website, and the simple fact that the website that Zionodes run is so very well presented, it's obviously been very well invested. It's a website that's built properly. The architecture, the structure is, it is absolutely excellent. It is not in any ways a cheap, quickly put together template site. And that's something to look for straight away. It's a site that's clearly been a major investment on its own. The other factor, as I've shown you, looking through some aspects of the site, is the transparency that is evident throughout. So that's a really good indicator to look for. Another thing that we think about as scammers is social media. So if we're going to look into a company, we want to look two things we want to look at on social media. First of all is the organization itself, and secondly, who is behind it. Now, one of the best things to look for straight away is transparency about who is running an operation. So if the website makes it clear who's behind an operation, and social media gives a favorable response to both the individuals and the organization, that's a really good sign that you could be looking at some very safe work with your coins. Now, in the case of Zionodes, of course, is an excellent team behind the project who you can check them out. You can check out on LinkedIn the profiles of these individuals. You can check out their backgrounds. It's a project that's being run by some people with a really solid track record, both in the past and currently in the industry, and that's a really good sign. And of course, you can go further than that. You can actually engage with the people behind a project. Why not drop them a Telegram, drop them a Twitter, start a conversation, and if they respond, that's a great sign straight away that we're talking to somebody genuine. Ultimately, if something appears to be too good to be true, then it may well be. But that's true of traditional fiat, it's true of DeFi. It is a question of judgment, but putting it together, the way I see it from what I've looked at with this site, I really do feel this is a site that really, really is one that lives up to its name. Another factor that I would say can give you real confidence in what Zionodes have got to offer is the fact that the Bitcoin mining world has really matured now. We've got big players getting into the scene. One such example is Digital Currency Group, who have invested huge amounts in the Bitcoin mining scene. And another example, of course, Galaxy Digital, who have also entered into the Bitcoin mining scene. And not just into the traditional mining scene, but into the cloud mining scene. So there are other really established and trusted names in the marketplace. I do believe that Zionodes put into that mix is one that's worth watching, definitely. So to sort of round it up then and bring my opinion into this and bring this to a conclusion, because I think this is something I'd really like to watch. I'd really encourage you to watch it. Now, whether you are completely new to the world of DeFi, or you're established, you're pretty knowledgeable, you've got a diverse portfolio, but you wish to diversify even more, perhaps manage some of your risk, and perhaps add some cloud mining into your portfolio, then wherever you are on that spectrum, Zionodes really does have a solid project to offer. If you are a hodler, then definitely now is a brilliant time to get your fingers in there and get investing in there. If you want some, like I said earlier, passive income, you want something that's going to generate and return its reward, again, there's a fantastic offer that really looks like it can do that. So wherever you are, whether you are a seasoned, serious DeFi, hardcore strategy investor, whether you're somebody who's just beginning but would really like a safe and easy entry into the world of mining, and you just don't have the patience or the desire to get involved in the complexity, and Zynodes just takes all of that away and makes it just so very, very simple. What you can do is simply let other experts manage the technical side of stuff while you simply earn the reward. So all in all, Zionodes.com, check it out, do your background, and give it some serious thought. I'm Jowan Alexis. This has been another episode of Inside Crypto Today TV. If you have any questions about Zionodes that we've talked about in today's episode, then hit us up on the messages below the video and we will find you the answers.